Ah, Kim is here. Amazing.
Rob, Rob,
Buddy.
my man, what are you doing, bro?
Yeah, when I swing, I put that fire to your chest. Talking ass, better wear a fucking vest.
Sure.
Why make weak people and strong people? Why not just make perfect people?
Well, the thing is, the strong people are helping the weak people by realizing
No, stop. Why make weak people and strong people? Why not just make perfect people?
Well, he did. We choose to be one or the other.
Okay. A perfect person doesn't make bad decisions, right? A perfect person acts perfectly, right?
But
so
no,
a perfect person, a perfect person would be presented with the option to love God or rebel against God. And because they are perfect, they would choose to love God every single time because that is the correct choice. So why make strong people and weak people? Why not just make perfect people who don't make bad decisions?
Well, he made perfect people at the beginning, and then perfect people became bad people.
Okay, but perfect people cannot become not perfect because they're perfect, right? They don't make any bad decisions ever whatsoever.
Oh, okay. So you still have a fundamental misunderstanding of what a perfect person is in this situation.
Okay. How can a perfect person choose the wrong option?
By having, it's fundamentally tied to a relationship.
No. How can a perfect person make the wrong decision? If you are perfect, it means you always make the right decision, right? Always, without exception.
Yep.
So how does a perfect person make an imperfect decision?
Well, I guess there is one person that can answer that question.
If you say Jesus.
I'm saying Jesus.
Okay, but you agree that humans were made perfect.
Yes.
In the Garden of Eden, humanity was perfect.
Yes.
How can perfect beings make the wrong decision?
Because relationship requires the possibility.
But he made us perfect. The possibility can exist. I will grant you that the possibility exists. But if he made us perfect, then the choice cannot be made incorrectly. The perfect person chooses the right choice every single time. How can a perfect being make an imperfect choice?
Because we were perfect morally, but we're still ignorant in many ways.
If we're perfect morally, then we would understand how to make the perfect moral decision to love God every single time. Why didn't we?
Because God was explaining things through the relationship of understanding.
But he made us perfect, which means we would have perfect understanding of that lesson, which means we would have made the right decision.
Oh, we didn't have perfect understanding.
But he made us perfect, Rob, perfect in every way. Otherwise, we wouldn't be perfect, right? There would be imperfection.
All-knowing?
It means a perfect mind that has perfect recollection of all inputs. Doesn't need to be omniscient, just needs to perfectly hear and perfectly understand everything that God says.
So perfect doesn't need to be all-knowing?
No, not in this case. Perfect and omniscient are different.
Sure.
A computer might be said to have perfect memory, right? Because it has perfect recall. I put a file in a place, and I can move the file, and I can pull the file, and I can copy the file and delete the file, right? Sure. The brain doesn't have perfect memory, but at the time of the Garden of Eden, Adam and Eve did have perfect minds and perfect cognition.
I mean,
and perfect senses, which means they heard and understood and obeyed God's laws perfectly, right? Because they're perfect beings. So why did they choose to eat the apple?
Curiosity, I think.
Would perfect beings have curiosity that is capable of making wrong decisions? That would mean they're imperfect.
In your estimation.
Okay, in what estimation do perfect beings not make perfect decisions?
With limited understanding.
Well, they have perfect understanding of God's law, and that's the only thing that matters here, right?
Yeah, but it's still limited.
So then it's not perfect.
Does limited mean imperfect?
Yes.
How so?
If it's limited in some way, it is less than it could be, which means it is imperfect. It has imperfections.
Well, I think you're conflating imperfection with knowledge again.
What knowledge is necessary to follow God's law that Adam and Eve did not have?
Yeah, they definitely had enough knowledge to follow God's law and know the consequences.
Okay, so then how did they make an imperfect decision if they were perfect beings?
Good. Fundamentally, it's tied to the principle of relationship.
Rob, the option is there, right? We
Yeah,
can,
the
you and I can
option.
agree that the option has been presented.
The option
But
was
if God made them perfectly, they make the perfect choice when presented with that problem every single time, right? Because they're perfect beings.
No, they don't.
No? So they're imperfect.
They had the option of being imperfect.
Why? What? Hold on. What do you mean they had the option of being imperfect? You said they were perfect beings. They were created perfect.
Yeah, they were perfect. That's
Why
true.
would a perfect being choose to be imperfect?
Because that perfect being was created with the option to choose out.
Sure. But why would a perfect being make the wrong choice? We agree that taking the out is the wrong choice, right?
Yeah, it is.
Okay, so how can a perfect being with perfect decision making make the wrong decision?
I don't believe that they had the. I don't believe that they were at the level that you think they should have been at.
But you said that they were perfect. I am describing what this word means, right? I am telling you. You're telling me they're perfect? This is what perfect means.
Yeah.
So do you have a different definition of perfect?
They were created perfect with a capacity for evil.
What does perfect mean to you?
Perfect means pure, and perfect means pure. For me, perfect means pure. Yeah, pure.
Okay. Does decision making factor in? What is perfect decision making in your mind?
Something that would align with God's logic, morality, and logic, morality. Yeah.
Okay. So Adam and Eve were made with perfect decision making, right? Meaning that they were completely and totally aligned with God's morality.
Absolutely.
Okay. What about God's morality would make them choose to eat from the tree of knowledge of good and evil?
It wasn't about God's morality.
Okay, but that's the morality they're operating on. They are completely and perfectly aligned to God's morality.
Okay, Ken, you gotta let me finish.
Sure.
Okay, so God created them perfectly with his own morality. That's true.
Yes.
So God gave them perfectly functioning minds. So they had perfect logic and perfect morality, but God had also created them with the capacity for evil.
Okay. But if they have perfect decision making, they will never choose to rebel against him. Well, because they have perfect logic and they have perfect decision making. So they'll never pick the wrong option. They will always know which option is the correct option and take that option, right?
Well, they have the capacity for evil, so clearly not.
But just because they have the capacity doesn't mean they need to do it, and they can choose not to.
Agreed.
And they would because they're perfect, right? A perfect being does not choose to be evil.
A perfect being with the capacity evil has the option of,
but never chooses it. Never takes that opportunity.
Unfortunately,
because they're perfect, right?
Well, they were perfect until they choose the option for evil.
Yes, I understand this. But how does a perfect being make the wrong decision?
Because the capacity for evil overtook their
No. Yes, they have the capacity for evil, Rob.
Yeah.
But why would a perfect being decide to be evil? That's not perfection. That's the wrong choice. Why would a perfect being make the wrong choice? Fundamentally, Rob, this makes no sense.
They chose the wrong option. It's right in Genesis if you want to read it, Ken.
Yes, I know that they did, but why?
Hey, Ken, listen. Just listen. If you just listen, this will take shorter. Okay, thank you. So in Genesis, it says that they saw that the tree looked pleasing to the eye and profitable for what? Knowledge and understanding. What do human beings, almost all human beings, aspire for? An increase of knowledge and understanding. And it says in Genesis that the Adam and Eve saw that the tree was good and pleasing to the eye, so visually aesthetic, and profitable for knowledge and understanding, and they took it and they eat it. So why did they choose? Hold on.
No. God told them. Hold on. God told them.
Let me finish, Ken. Let me finish. Okay, so that's what it says in Genesis, that they had those things were going on. They saw that the tree was pleasing to
Yes,
the eye.
they saw that the tree was pleasing. Continue.
And profitable for knowledge and understanding.
Yes, you have already said this. Continue.
Okay. And they took it and eat it. Now,
Yes,
that's the reason, Kim, that they chose it, because they thought it was profitable to increase their knowledge and understanding.
But God told them not to.
Agreed.
And they have perfect decision making.
And capacity.
Why would they? The capacity
Because they wanted to increase
evil,
their knowledge and understanding.
No, they're perfect beings. Imperfect beings want to increase their knowledge. A perfect being has maximal knowledge.
No, they didn't.
Then they're not perfect.
They had limited knowledge.
And even if they had limited knowledge, they knew that God told them what that tree was. They should have been able to properly identify that tree if they had perfect senses and perfect cognition and perfect recall of God's instructions. They are perfect beings.
They had the recall wasn't the option of the problem, because that's obviously eliminated in
the decision making was the problem, because they erroneously decided to disobey God. Why would a perfect being disobey God?
Because they wanted to increase their knowledge and understanding.
Why would a perfect being want for anything? They're perfect.
Because
they're perfect.
They were created with desires, Ken. They weren't created like autonomous robots.
Why would a perfect being have desires? What could a perfect being that needs nothing desire for anything? That's the definition of perfect, meaning without nothing. It has everything it needs. It is perfect in every way. It has no blemishes.
Yeah, it had perfect desires too at one point.
What could a perfect being desire? It's
relationship, perfect. Intimacy, empathy.
It gets all of that from God already. It already has all of that.
And each other. And each other.
They
have it from each other
perfect.
Too.
And they have all of that. So why would they decide to disobey God? They're perfect beings.
Because they misunderstood something God was trying
to do. Hold on. How can a perfect being misunderstand something?
Because they have limited knowledge and they have capacity for evil.
But they have perfect cognition and understanding.
And
perfect
decision for evil.
With the capacity for evil makes them misunderstand things, Rob?
It gives the option.
If a perfect being cannot misunderstand anything, Rob, it's perfect. It understands everything perfectly because it is a perfect being.
Okay, let me put it this way, Ken. You and I are able to use logic, induction, reference.
Yes, but we are imperfect beings. We're talking about perfect beings.
Just hear me out. Okay, you and I have the ability to use logic and reason and inference and rhetoric. And,
imperfectly, yes.
Yeah, so agreed, imperfectly. Okay, but even perfectly, Adam and Eve were still able to use those same things perfectly with the capacity for evil.
But if they are perfect and they do so perfectly, they will always arrive at the right decision. Always, because it's perfect.
I wish you were right, but unfortunately you're not.
How does a perfect being arrive at the wrong answer?
With the capacity for evil.
It doesn't matter if they're capable of evil, Rob. Just because they're capable of evil doesn't mean they have to be evil. And a perfect being would not choose evil.
I agree with the premise that having the capacity for evil doesn't mean they have to choose evil.
Yes, and also, a perfect being would never choose evil.
Let me finish.
A perfect
being doesn't
want imperfect.
Ken, let me finish. A moral agent who's perfect with the capacity evil does have the capacity to choose evil as well.
The capacity for evil is an imperfection, then.
Well,
it causes imperfect decision making. It causes imperfect inference of the world. It causes imperfect understanding of God's laws. The capacity for evil is an imperfection.
I reject that premise.
You can't, Rob.
Of course I can.
Your position breaks down if you do, because then you have perfect beings that can somehow make imperfect decisions.
It's only in your mind that it's breaking down. And this is why I understand that
Rob, your position fundamentally requires that perfect beings make imperfect decisions, and that logically is a contradiction, Rob.
No, they have the capacity for it. You're conflating things again. You do this.
Just because they have the capacity for it doesn't mean they have to do it. And a perfect being would always perfectly arrive at the right decision.
Cam, I've already agreed with you on that point, and I don't want to continue to go in circles with you.
You don't agree with me. You disagree with me. You
Well, I mean,
think
I
that
know,
perfect
Cam,
beings can make imperfect decisions.
Yeah, if they have the capacity for evil, they can.
So then they're
that.
not perfect. The capacity for evil is an imperfection that
Okay,
causes
Cam,
imperfect decisions.
we're going in circles here, man. We're not going to get anywhere with that.